POWERGRID's giant transmission network, spread right across the length and breadth of our nation, acts as its lifeline. POWERGRID made One Nation, One Grid a reality. More than its daunting dimensions and spread, what's even more exciting about POWERGRID is the manner in which this organization is managed, the way this complex network is operated in a fail-safe manner, and most importantly, the principles on which it is based. So welcome to the story of growth through good governance. Welcome to a story of defining principles, sound ethics and unfailing transparency. In short, welcome to the POWERGRID story.
POWERGRID is the principal transmission utility and carries 50% of the energy of the entire country to provide cheap power to consumers. POWERGRID has integrated the entire nation to have the single frequency and a vibrant electricity market. And POWERGRID believes in development of all the stakeholders through generation of unskilled and skilled people, and also through CSR on rural development, health and skill development. And our vigilance department has done an extremely good job by having systemic improvement through preventive vigilance. And as a company, we have made it a policy to have a zero tolerance to corruption.
POWERGRID Corporation of India Limited, a Navratna company, besides being the central transmission utility of India, is a world-class, integrated, global transmission organization that's one of the largest of its kind on this planet. With its dominant leadership in emerging power markets, POWERGRID has long stood for sheer trust, integrity, reliability, equity, safety and economy. POWERGRID has been playing a vital role in the growth of the nation by developing a robust, integrated national grid. As one of the key drivers for economic growth through its technologically advanced transmission infrastructure, the organization has achieved many a milestone and established benchmarks in various areas of its business operations. Through diversifications into the consultancy and telecom businesses, it is also contributing to the efforts of Government of India in its various reform-oriented programs like rural electrification and its initiatives for new technology and inclusive growth like Smart Grid, National Knowledge Network and National Optical Fiber Network projects, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan and the Make in India initiative.
Easy governance है, effective governance है और economical governance है. E-governance के माध्यम से good governance की ओर जाने का रास्ता है. हम डिजिटल इंडिया के माध्यम से आईटी के धरातल पर यूनिटी का मंत्र को साकार करना चाहते हैं.
Good and great companies across the world have consistently exhibited attributes of equity, fairness and honesty in their transactions, which in turn has always helped them create value for their stakeholders, at the same time instilling a feeling of immense trust and pride. To meet the objective of effective corporate governance, a special forum of vigilance professionals consisting of PSUs and government bodies has been formed, known as the Vigilance Study Circle. In this forum, policy matters and exchange of ideas for improving governance take place. POWERGRID's remarkable growth story has been built on the foundations of transparent information dissemination, which has made it one of the most investor-friendly companies in India. POWERGRID truly believes in sharing all its information with its stakeholders in a transparent manner.
For example, he said he will bring in reform in transparency. You see a government which is completely transparent, changing the rules of the game so that discretion is eliminated from the system. We did that in the power sector when the Supreme Court passed severe strictures on the method of allotment that was followed in the erstwhile period. The Narendra Modi government believes there is no contradiction between the two Indias that Madam talked of. When business succeeds, that we will create jobs, we will improve the lives of the people who are yearning for being self-reliant, yearning for a better tomorrow.
Vigilance increases the productivity of an organization, which promotes growth and development of the country.
Preventive vigilance is not merely about inspections, reviews, audits, but it is having a relook at the processes. As a person who is looking at preventive vigilance, we need to be looking more at systems. We are people who are basically looking at some kind of a re-engineering of the process.
Transparency and public accountability are the two hallmarks, which are the two hallmarks of preventive vigilance. Those should be properly implemented in all the organizations. So we should ensure that we keep on going for more and more standardization.
Therefore, transparency in Power Grid has always been reflective of active participation of its stakeholders. The organization strictly adheres to transparency through timely and adequate involvement of its stakeholders in the decision-making process, which has earned Power Grid the unshakable trust of its stakeholders. Power Grid has well-defined and robust procedures for the approvals on investments and project implementation. The company has been consistently improving its procurement practices in consultation with its vendors, in line with the prevalent international practices, along with the active participation of the Vigilance Department, which has also contributed many system improvements in procedures, thereby enhancing the credibility of the organization. To ensure high levels of transparency and fairness in its procurement practice, it follows the Works and Procurement Policy and Procedures, which is transparent and easy to implement uniformly, and with major thrust on expeditious and decentralized decision-making, coupled with accountability and responsibility. Guidelines of the multilateral funding agencies, such as the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank, are well integrated into this document. Power Grid in 2009 migrated from an erstwhile single-stage, single-envelope system of bidding to a single-stage, two-envelope system in a phased manner, as a result of which the instances of vendor grievances and complaints have reduced considerably, indicating enhanced trust of the bidders in the procurement process, which in turn has led to higher levels of transparency and efficiency. The Integrity Pact program was implemented in Power Grid in line with the recommendations of the CVC, included in the monitoring system by way of a panel of independent external monitors appointed with the approval of the CVC. Thus, the vendors have also been provided a platform to share feedback and grievances, if any, thereby raising the level of mutual trust and confidence. Use of IT tools in the procurement processes helps in bringing integrity and better transparency into the system. Power Grid implemented its e-procurement program from January 2012 onwards for domestically funded packages. Besides the operational advantages inherent to this system, the transparency involved in e-procurement has helped in improving the system efficiency and efficacy. World Bank, one of the major lenders to Power Grid, has audited the e-procurement process in Power Grid and provided suggestions for improving the system. And as such, e-procurement has now been adopted in World Bank funded packages as well. All this has been achieved through participative vigilance and CVC guidelines. Power Grid has also implemented e-reverse auction, a tactical tool in the e-sourcing strategy used as a means to discover prices transparently. The bidding community is actively participating in the process, and it is expected that the e-reverse auction as a strategic and tactical tool will go a long way in bringing substantial savings to Power Grid and in turn to the end users in the future. Thanks to this, since 2014, Power Grid has saved more than 227 crore rupees in its various tenders. Power Grid procures the best available materials and equipments for construction of its projects, wherein the smallest bolts to an HVDC equipment costing millions of dollars is ensured to last for decades to come, for which an efficient and vigilant quality management system has been developed. Power Grid's quality management system is built around the philosophy of prevention, that is, quality assurance rather than detection, that is, final product inspection. In the process of quality assurance and inspection, stakeholders are involved in each and every step, which helps in identifying the best practices for ensuring quality of the products and services. While building the transmission network at lightning speed, POWERGRID is alive towards its environmental commitments. POWERGRID follows a policy of avoidance, minimization and mitigation. The company has evolved environmental, social policy and procedures after extensive consultative processes with all stakeholders, including project-affected persons and the local communities. The environmental, social policy and procedures ensure total transparency in dealing with all stakeholders, including concerned government agencies, local communities, individual landowners and employees through a well-defined public consultation process as well as dissemination of relevant information about the project at every stage of implementation. The company's CSR approach primarily focuses on the inclusive socio-economic growth of the marginalized and underprivileged sections of the society residing around its areas of operation. POWERGRID helps the socio-economically weaker section of the society by providing vocational training, skill development, by providing scholarships to the children of poor whose land has been acquired during construction. Vigilance Department conducts audit of CSR activities based on source information. This giant transmission network is designed, built and efficiently manned by the highly qualified team of engineers who are inducted through a transparent recruitment system. The Vigilance Department has also done proactive vigilance audit of the recruitment procedures and advised many system improvements based on transparency and providing equal opportunity to all. This has instilled further confidence in unemployed youth, earned great respect from various stakeholders, and has opened a business opportunity for POWERGRID as a recruitment consultant to a number of state utilities that also happen to be POWERGRID's customers. Corporate governance is the core of all management processes and decisions in the company. POWERGRID ensures fulfillment of all statutory requirements of being a corporate entity. The company has constituted an audit committee and shareholders and investors grievance committee as per the requirements of listing agreement. To share the progress of the company's projects and various business-related developments with the investing community, POWERGRID regularly holds press and analysts meets.
POWERGRID is in the business of transmission, which is the key to the 24/7 power supply to the entire country, which is the objective of the Government of India. In fact, POWERGRID is growing phase. It has a huge capital program. This is possible only through the good corporate governance, which entails transparency and accountability, not only to the government policies, but all the stakeholders, including the poor farmers on whose land our transmission line crosses. Our Vigilance Department plays a major role in implementing this corporate governance through the preventive vigilance practices. In fact, we strictly adhere to these preventive vigilance practices through a strong framework of policies and the transparent management.
The company has been recently conferred with the prestigious ICSI National Award for Excellence in Corporate Governance for 2014 by the Institute of Company Secretaries of India in recognition of the highest levels of transparency and governance practices adopted by it. POWERGRID also signs an MOU with the Ministry of Power and has been consistently evaluated excellent in terms of MOU performance. The Vigilance Department of POWERGRID is headed by a full-time CVO, who is a senior IPS officer. Since the operations of POWERGRID are spread all over the country, vigilance executives are also posted across all its regional headquarters. To contain the menace of corruption and to check against fraudulent practices in the organization, comprehensive multi-pronged strategies have been developed, which include preventive vigilance through surprise inspections of work, regular inspections, process online inspections, scrutiny of files, scrutiny of property returns, surveillance of suspected employees and vendors, factory visits by the Vigilance Department, scrutiny of pre-award documents, rotation of employees posted across sensitive departments, and the collection of source information. It has also developed an online complaint handling system in its website. There is regular interaction between the management and the vigilance functionaries at various levels. The CMD holds regular meetings with the CVO, wherein a variety of issues are taken up for discussion to ensure the integrity and equity of the organization.
Power Grid, in a short span of time, has achieved its greater heights. At the same time, it has also achieved its cherished desire to have one nation, one grid. Vigilance administration over a period of time has moved from punitive to preventive, from preventive to predictive, predictive to participative vigilance. We have conducted many vigilance audits so as to provide a robust systems, operations and procedures so as to ensure the transparency, integrity, equity and fairness in decision making. At the same time, we have adopted the zero tolerance to the corruption.
Our whistleblower policy also provides a platform to employees for reporting frauds, suspected frauds or any other fraudulent activities without any fear of retribution, which helps in eliminating any kind of unethical conducts within the system. Strict vigil is being kept to avoid insider trading and conflict of interest while dealing with businesses of the organization. Power Grid's management believes that education is the best tool to defeat corruption at all levels. Therefore, Power Grid's Vigilance Department has been conducting many workshops and seminars on preventive vigilance, ethics and values, and workshops on RTI. During such workshops and seminars, eminent faculties from various agencies like the CVC, CBI, CERT and GOI have been invited over so that the employees can benefit from their diverse knowledge. Technical trainings to ensure sensitizing of officers, particularly the newly inducted ones, in the field of preventive vigilance guidelines, moral values and ethics in corporate governance is also a part of the training module. Power Grid observes Vigilance Awareness Week every year, involving various stakeholders. Inter-school debate is organized every year to sensitize younger generation about the menace of corruption. All complaints received from various resources are promptly verified and investigated thoroughly, and if any employee or vendor is found to have been indulging or indulged in the past in any sort of fraudulent practice, immediate action is taken, which includes recovery, course correction as well as banning of such vendors for specified period. As a measure for predictive vigilance, comprehensive appraisal of some critical departments is also undertaken by the Vigilance Department and the business processes studied in detail. As a result of this, many processes have been re-engineered. In some cases, improvements of various processes have also been implemented. By leveraging technology, Vigilance Department got implemented biometric access control of sensitive departments in its corporate office. Power Grid follows a zero-tolerance policy towards corruption, in line of which firm and exemplary actions have been taken against employees and vendors found to be indulging in corrupt practices. Recoveries worth several crores of rupees have been made from defaulting vendors and contractors due to such a policy. Consistent efforts of vigilance in complete synergy with the management has led to unparalleled growth of the organization, which is a constant endeavor to realize India's dream of electricity for all. This is in line with the Government of India's policy on 24/7 electricity. With such a stringent set of beliefs, policies and procedures in place, ensuring the highest standards of ethics and transparency across all its facets, Power Grid continues to march ahead, a dominant force in change management and catalyzing development in all facets of the power sector and synergic areas of distribution and telecommunication. This dynamic and ever-evolving organization is looked upon as an example of a resilient, indomitable, bold new transparent India. Power Grid. Transparency for a better India.